Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent, Commander in the house. Glad you're all here. Thanks for joining us on a chilly Thursday morning, but nonetheless, going to warm up, be a nice day. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Hayfeed and Ranch Services.
No kidding. We walked up this morning and I told Ash, he goes, man, I didn't think it was going to be this chilly. And I said, I remember yesterday saying it was going to be 52, which is what it says on my car, 52. But I said, man, it feels like 38. And we laugh about that because that's what the weather always does. But here on the Wade and Carter weather from AT Deerland Feed, it says it's 49 degrees in Victoria, Texas, right there.
Yep, I see that.
Feels like 35.
Yep, you were close.
And it does.
It does feel a little chilly.
It's chilly out there. Expect a sunny day. The sun will come out today and tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar. Okay. 11 o'clock today, the sun's out.
Any more of that, I would have had to throat punch you because I just,
and I would
that
deserve
song
it.
I can't stand.
I would. You don't like that song? How can you not like that song? Just too many times? Did you like it when you first heard it? Well, and when you sing in the Canadian, right? The sun will come out tomorrow. I apologize about
tomorrow.
I apologize about
tomorrow. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah, see, it's not
There'll
the
be
same.
day because they can't
It's
rhyme
not
it.
the same.
Because
No,
they
it
got to
can't
rhyme it with A, and it didn't quite work. The translation was off. It was like watching bad dub Japanese movies.
Do you think some of that was done on purpose, that they did that to just mock the American
I
audience?
think so, yeah. I really did.
When you see the Japanese guy and his mouth goes, and then it goes, I told you not to do that.
Well, I think there's no there's no way to match it up exactly.
Right. Well, they made no effort.
No. Stephanie Coney, Mark Kurtz, Scott Tomko on the podium this morning. Glad you're joining us. Thank you. We're live from the Aston studio as we are every weekday morning. Glad you're all here.
I have a dumb question for you.
No
Greg
dumb
Garcia is a good guy
that
to ask. It's a serious question. How do you, let's say that you have a song you like, Amarillo by Morning.
Yep.
George Strait classic, one of the standards of country music. And you decide to sing it in Spanish. And if you're a listener on Magic 95.9, first of all, welcome. And second of all, if you are on Facebook also, can you give us a comment?
Or YouTube.
How do you translate that into Spanish and make it work? And I mean, because it doesn't, the Spanish equivalent doesn't rhyme.
No.
Amarillo mañana. It doesn't rhyme. It doesn't work. So I don't know what you do there. I've just always wondered how that plays out. Not to mention, if I say you're as smooth as butter, then in the translation, I've got to work the word mantequilla in there. You see what I'm saying? How do you sing a song and translate it?
Different words. They use different words. It's not quite.
Do they?
It's not, I don't think it's quite butter.
Some of them also use some American words and some Spanish words.
So it's like Tex-Mex.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's
Freddie
exactly.
Fender did a good job in his songs, singing half in English, half in Spanish.
Freddie Fender just dominates that song.
Scott Snow checking in. BJ Nelson.
Hi, Marina.
Justin Wass. Hi, Marina. Sherry Jacobs. Amanda King. Tammy Keeling. Daniel Wade White. Marvin Mickish. Will Vincent. Dana Moore Deli Garza. Lisa Poole. Greg Garcia. Bobby Leister. Patrick Strauss. Good morning, everybody. Glad you're here. Ricky King checking in.
Did I see where we were going to be joined soon by Woodrow Wilson Wagner? Not today necessarily.
No, I think sometime in early April.
Okay, that's good. That's good to get prepared. And then also yesterday Ash was chastising me, and rightfully so.
I did. I don't remember chastising.
You were on me about not paying attention or something.
You weren't. Yeah, that's right.
But there's a guy that's going to come on. I don't remember where I found him. I just had him a second ago. Oh, this guy. Commissioner, this is in Nueces County in Corpus. Mike Pusley, P-U-S-L-E-Y,
Sounds right, yeah.
Pusley. He's a county commissioner. And, I mean, this article that I'm reviewing is dated March 10th. So this is timely in Corpus Christi. Welcome to our listeners and viewers, hi, on KTMV in Corpus Christi. It says the Nueces County Commissioner is calling on Corpus Christi leaders to immediately move forward with the city's stalled desalination plant project, saying the region cannot afford further delays as water concerns continue to grow and make headlines. And Ash immediately pointed out, if they decide to build a plant today, it ain't helping them for 2 years at least, and they're already up a creek without any water.
And things got more interesting because now Governor Abbott says Corpus Christi, or he accused them, that they have squandered $750 million in state aid that was given to the city to address their dwindling water supply.
And there's no telling what they did. They probably used some of it for drainage.
I mean, I can't imagine the governor's going to come out there and say that without some sort of proof of them doing so, right?
Yeah. The commissioner said, I'm asking Mayor Paulette Guajardo to call an immediate emergency meeting of the city council with one item. The ads just kill me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, yesterday, the city of Corpus Christi released a statement to 3 News in Corpus Christi, KII TV.
KIII.
Yeah, that's what I just said, except I spelled it out for folks who might have stuttering problems.
Have a hard time.
Yes. The city of Corpus Christi is facing a record drought that, if conditions persist, may necessitate further water conservation measures later this year to protect the water supply. Over the past few years, the city's worked to strengthen its water supply by making essential upgrades to its distribution system, pipelines, and infrastructure. The city made important improvements to the O.N. Stevens water treatment plant. Here's the problem. You're already in drought 3 water restriction, or stage 3 water restrictions. You're past the point of conserving water making a difference in Corpus Christi.
It sounds like too little, too late.
Yeah.
Unless we get immense amounts of rain, which we may with the don't fret. With the early spring that we're having, it would be consistent that we have lots of rain between now and the end of May.
And here's part of the problem. Right in here, the city of Corpus Christi, as part of a nearly $1 billion investment in water infrastructure, we've approved a portfolio of active projects that are expected to gradually come online over the next 24 months.
Right.
So they've been sitting on their ass,
easy,
knowing this is coming up for years, and they're still 2 years away from any fundamentally systematic changes in the water. And it's all well field water.
Yeah.
So they're stealing it from their neighbors.
True story.
And the farmers who are already suffering with less water. I read a blog from a farmer yesterday who 3 years ago had plenty of water and now can't irrigate their fields. Planted like 5,000 pecan trees, pecan farmer, imagine that.
He did that to not pay taxes.
Yeah.
So that, oh, by the way, they could have used that money to get more water.
But the point was they planted the trees and all of a sudden the water's gone.
Yeah.
So they've watched the trees burn up. Governor Abbott's right on this. There's some serious issues in Corpus Christi that need to be
There's
exposed.
always been issues in Corpus Christi with corruption. It'll be interesting to get the commissioner on. Speaking of commissioners, that leads you into Commissioner's Court. How did you feel about county judge in Houston yesterday? Did you folks hear this?
Lena Hidalgo.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happened, and then you tell. We'll ferret out what either did happen or should have happened. She put out a Facebook post and then took it down. After she put it out, she took it down. But then she sent a letter, I do not know to whom, but the letter said something to the effect of, I have never been more mistreated. Let me just get it. I've got it here. I was trying to paraphrase, but I know that some of you folks are such sticklers. Let me get this. Let's don't just have a conversation. Let's have a fact sharing. Yay. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo released a new 2-page letter addressing her confrontation with security at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Hidalgo reiterated her claims that she was grabbed, shoved, and threatened after being denied access to the dirt area because she did not have a wristband. So you know that if you go to the rodeo, and if you're one of those people that gets lucky or has the right, you buy a wristband, when, Brad Paisley comes out to play, they let you go down on the arena floor. But you have to have the wristband in order to do that. So make a note of that. I will not go near that area again, she wrote, but I have never felt so unempowered as a woman as I did yesterday.
Oh, so it's because she was a woman.
Right. And no doubt because she was a Latino woman. But here's the deal. She tried to go somewhere where she didn't have credentials to go. Okay, we'll get back to that. Hidalgo also suggested the alleged treatment may have been influenced by, are you ready?
Yep.
Her ethnicity, gender, and political reputation. So now not only did the sheriff's deputies who refused to let her go on the floor, they were on her because she was a Latina and she was a woman, and they don't like her politics, which, by the way, sums up Houston. They don't like her politics. Very interesting. She took that down off her Facebook post. She said some folks...
She took the time to write a 2-page letter.
Listen to this, gets even better. You want to, alienate your voting base. Some people, mostly white men, have felt emboldened to treat others, particularly Hispanics, with physical force, she added. In a statement released earlier, HLSR officials said Hidalgo attempted to access the dirt area without a proper ticket, which would have cost $425. So here's the deal.
Alex Alvarez says, when do you know who I am doesn't work and you get treated like the rest of us.
That's right.
I've heard she was sitting in someone's seats. How she got into them to begin with probably was the old, hey, I'm the county judge. I can be in here.
Exactly
and she
what
went
she
and sat
did.
in someone's seats, and those people showed up and they said, hey, not in my seats.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I mean, I think about this is the literal equivalent of our own Ben Zeller. Why would you go somewhere and not have already either bought or requested from someone? Harumph.
I'm sure with her campaign financing,
she could have
issues,
bought
she
the
probably-
ticket.
yeah,
but
somebody.
instead, she played the entitled minority.
No, she first played
Woman
the entitled
card.
She first played the entitled card because of who she is.
Yeah.
When that didn't work, then she played the victim card.
Yeah.
She was empowered because she was in power as the county judge to think that gave her special treatment and access.
Right. And was probably dragging a couple of people with her.
I'm sure she was embarrassed.
little entourage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the Democrats and the communists playing out before your very eyes. They believe they deserve everything they get. To hell with the little people. They are entitled to things that nobody else gets in society. And then when it didn't work out, she has to play the victim.
100%. Hats off to Lisa Poole. The word of the day. She thought she was entitled. Feckless. I love the word feckless. But I haven't shared this with you. So if you guys, Cody, is this mic hot?
Yep.
If you had to guess, I'm just like, it's not a trick question. The head Shaka Khan at Washington State or Oregon-based, Starbucks, Washington State, I think.
Yep.
Yes,
Seattle
Seattle.
based.
Seattle-based. Liberal conservative.
Very liberal.
Okay, very liberal, very liberal. Probably a guy, honestly,
It's a girl.
okay, proud to pay her taxes.
No, it's Howard Schultz.
Yeah, Howard Schultz. For all
Oh,
I
that's
know,
that's the owner.
the owner,
Oh,
the guy,
yeah, yeah.
the head Shaka Khan.
You're right. You're right.
So the third son of the Khan. You would think, right? Happy to pay his taxes, just giving back. I mean, he's got to be a billionaire. Got to be.
I think doesn't he not own them? He owns.
Seahawks, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. And then maybe the Hawk. Yeah. I think he
So
does
this
Seahawks.
guy, coincidence or not, state of Washington voted on so if you make over $1 million, any monies you earn over that $1 million, which Howard does in week 2 of January, you now owe to the state of Washington 9.9%. So out of every million, you owe 99 grand. Out of every million you make, that's off the top. 99 grand out of every million you make. And you would think old Howard would just roll up there and pay that in quarters and just be thrilled to do it. Nope.
You would think.
Nope. Howard loaded up him and all of his family members. He has adult children, and they all moved to sunny Florida. And he said, so excited to see where this part of our adventure takes us. Howard, no doubt, running from the idiotic taxes at Washington State. Jennifer Rayburn clearing up the judge situation. HLSR staff, volunteers, community officials get access to unclaimed seats. She had suite passes, but the paid ticket holders showed up and asked for their seats. After she balked, they got law enforcement involved.
Well,
And she was like, well, fine, then I'll just go down on the floor. And no, you won't, sister.
I bet you their policy changes to eliminate community officials from that list.
Absolutely. I would do that today. Fine, y'all just get your own seats.
Yep. I have no problem with staff and volunteers who work hard for Rodeo Houston and the livestock show there.
Well, you've done
to be
that.
able to sit there.
You've done that stuff. Don't you have a brother that's extremely active in the Calgary Stampede, and it's a lot of work.
And Jay Dubb is the president of the Chuckwagon Committee. I was a volunteer for the Winter Olympics. You know what we didn't get? Access to everything.
Did you get a medal?
No. I got a nice winter jacket made by Sun Ice, though, and I still have it. It's very warm.
I would have figured as a Canadian they would have given you a silver medal.
Actually,
I'm so sorry.
I did
folks.
get a commemorative medal, to be honest.
I bet you did.
Yeah, I did.
What was her name?
Gold.
Oh, okay.
That was
Just-
a good answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call in Washington State. This was basically by party lines. 27 yeas, 22 nays, nobody absent, nobody excused on the tax on millionaires. And it was straight across party lines. All Democrats voted for it. All Republicans voted against it. The people of Washington complain, but they continue to vote these idiots into office to continue to do this. And this isn't the only one. You watch and see. Howard Schultz may have left Seattle. Seattle is still domiciled there, but that's about to change. I got another one here for you because ExxonMobil has just announced.
Huge,
this
folks.
is huge.
This is beyond huge. I remember when ExxonMobil moved their headquarters to Dallas many years ago, but
Well, now they're in the Woodlands.
yes, but yeah, well, they merged with Mobil, remember?
Yeah.
So they had a big office there. And now you're right, their physical campus is now in the Woodlands.
So ExxonMobil announcing earlier this week that after 150 years of officially being in New Jersey for business and tax purposes, they are re-domiciling to the state of Texas. They cited Texas's business-friendly regulatory environment, modernized business statutes, in other words, taxes or less taxes. There's nothing about Texas regulations regarding oil that can't be addressed from New Jersey. This is all about lessening the tax burden on ExxonMobil.
And you're going
150
back-
years of putting up with BS in New Jersey?
150 years, you're going back to who was the guy? Humble Oil, Esso. They broke them up.
Standard Oil,
Begins with a G, doesn't it?
G. Gordon Liddy.
No, help me out, Cody. Founder of Exxon. Everybody will know. It's just, I know it's just off the tip of my head. I think his name begins with a G.
John D.
Getty.
Rockefeller.
John Paul Getty.
Yep,
Was it
I think
Getty?
it's Getty.
Getty Oil that they decided, and maybe accurately so. I'm not judging the Supreme Court. They decided that it was too much of a monopoly. It may not have been the Supreme Court, it may have been the New Jersey court, but they broke them up. And that's when you had Esso and Exxon and Humble. And,
Mobil, Standard Oil.
Yeah.
All of them.
I don't know if Mobil was part of it. Texaco, was down here and is not part of that. But they broke them up, and Exxon, I've just always felt like I felt like Exxon was kind of like the Neiman Marcus of gasoline. I always felt like, and like Shell, I'll stop at a Shell station. They're usually clean. I always feel like, well, you're going to pay a little bit more at Exxon, but it's really good stuff. But, I'm in general, I'm a Speedy Stop guy. I'm a Texan guy. I don't know whose fuel I'm buying. I know it all comes out of the same pump right over there on Rio Grande. But I always thought of Exxon as being pricier.
Exxon is Esso around the rest of the world. It's
But-
Esso in Canada. It's Esso in
Different
Europe.
company, though, I think. I think it's part of the breakup.
No, Esso's been around forever. I think it was
Yeah,
just
Standard Oil was Rockefeller.
Thank you, Money
Right.
Howard.
So see if you can find, Cody, what companies John D. Rockefeller's oil companies fractured into.
Standard Oil, I think, became Mobil.
Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
We've got the commander looking at that. Look at there. There's Clayton Helt, and there's Wade and Carter bringing value. Clayton Helt says, "I am calling you today, Cody." That's like Zacchaeus was a wee little man. Going to your house today.
Should we take
Cody.
our first break?
I think we should.
Then we'll get in. Then we'll talk more.
First
oil.
of many. Break early, break off, and brand us. We talk about it often here. Probably not enough for the value that we perceive we get from Commander Cody. You should reach out to Cody on Facebook and let him help you monetize your website. He can help you clean it up. He's done that for us. For example, you can go today to our website. He wants to say something so bad, but I'm not letting him.
Just about the Rockefeller oil.
Oh, well, we'll come back to that. Okay. But if you go to our website, wadeandcarter.com, so simple, and isn't it ironic that we have that name for a website? If you go there, you can click on news and you'll find a flyer about the casino night for the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Tell us about that,
Our
Commander.
buddy Lee Zimmerman. Cody, what do you see on our website that you put on there under news?
All the things I've put on there under news are still there because nobody else knows how to work on this site.
You are the guy.
Vegas comes to Victoria Saturday, March 14th at the Victoria Community Center Annex. Proceeds go to the National Wild Turkey Federation. And you were telling us earlier that it's always a fun night and it's always got a lot
Well,
of
and this is a
great
different
prize.
twist because we've been the last few years, and it's
to
been
their
a dinner and an
fundraiser.
auction and a
Yeah.
fundraiser. But this is a different deal now that they're bringing a casino night to Victoria.
This is a casino night, and Lee told me the other day that he's got tickets available. But
How much are
he's-
tickets, Cody?
How much are tickets, Cody? There's all this buy-in deal, right? You get a table. If you buy a table, you get so many $5,000 worth of tickets. But if you have a table of 8, you get 10,000. You can buy back in for $40.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, it's a fundraiser. But at the end, you trade your tickets either for chances to win or you can trade your tickets to win. What's interesting is
It's like grown-ups Chuck E. Cheese.
he told me absolutely that guns, and they always have great prizes. I'll give Lee that. They always have great
Well,
prizes.
think about it. The community center annex is not big. The dome seats about 1,000 people. The annex, maybe 350?
But he
Maybe.
told me
Somewhere
he
there?
had 100 people coming,
But
and that he had 75
you got seven-
items to win.
You got 75 items to win. If that building is sold out, your chances to win something are great.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
The,
Get a ticket.
Admission for one includes a catered meal. All drinks are free, $5,000 in chips, as well as a comedian show.
Yeah, they've got a guy there that imitates Barney Fife, and supposedly he's hilarious.
So that's $100, or you get double for $150 for two people. Includes $10,000 of chips, 2 meals, blah 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 blah. So sounds like you should find somebody and take them with you.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Look at that. Standard Oil was Rockefeller, ConocoPhillips. It was Conoco and Phillips 66.
I remember the Phillips 66.
Humble Oil became Exxon. We'll get back to that. But real quick, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. You can go any night and pay and play. Chance to win money. Great food at the L&L Grill. Palace Bingo supporting 7 local charities. Yes, Patrick Strauss Beverly Woods Foundation will be having a fundraiser, and we'll get with you on that in advance. Chopping block. Caden said everything over there is $3.99. Get by, but get by the chopping block. I'll tell you that I've had several people. When I go in there, I like to basically harass folks that are there, and I've had multiple people tell me this is the only place I buy meat. I go to the grocery store for everything, and then I come here to buy meat. And I think that's the way it should be. You're going to a specialty shop for what you need. You can buy your canned green beans anywhere you want, but you can buy meat at the chopping block. We highly recommend it. Boudins, a whole variety of sausages. Every time you go in, the sausage and boudin is different. They're always trying new things. I highly recommend the chopping block right there on North Navarro, just inside the loop. White Trash Services, if you're in the sound of our voice in the No Bull Network, Calhoun, DeWitt, Goliad, on, B, Frio, Jim Hogg, and Victoria counties. White Trash Services is your preferred trash provider. They will come and pick up your garbage and haul it off.
And they can do curbside service, they can do dumpsters,
roll-off
spring cleaning. Perfect time to get a roll-off.
Absolutely. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Get in this weekend and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. I like the idea that you can go in and say, I like that sofa. I like the firmness. I like 2 cushions instead of 3. I like that it's 6'6" instead of 8 foot. But I don't like those legs, and I don't want that color. Bobby Leon and his team can customize that for you and have it sent to your house. You may have to wait a little while, but it's not like it's custom furniture where you're going to pay a whole lot more for it.
But it is customizable.
That's right. You pick what you want, and Bobby and his team will set you
Or go
free.
see what they've got on sale right now. I picked up a beautiful sofa and love seat from them about a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's still holding up
Super
well, and
nice.
it just looks really nice. It's so cool.
Yeah, very nice.
Navy. I never thought I'd want a navy sofa, but it looks really good.
It's clean looking.
No, easy. It's nice. So anyway, getting into oil, because the war in Iran has really turned into the war of Hormuz, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. The Iranian Navy claiming that they're controlling things. They're only letting certain ships in. They attacked 3 vessels yesterday that are non-military, oil tankers basically. So oil prices hit about $120 a barrel Monday. Then they came down. They were about $81 a barrel, I think, yesterday or Tuesday. And now today, sitting at around $91 a barrel this morning. I think West Texas Intermediate was $91 when I checked before the show. The heavier Brent crude was $97 a barrel. So the one thing I didn't look at, though, driving in, because I didn't look at this stuff till we were sitting here sort of perusing the headlines.
You're a safe driver.
Well, I'm curious to see if gas prices have dropped, since oil prices are now about $20 a barrel, or almost $30 a barrel less than they were on Sunday or Monday, when gas prices went up to about $3 a gallon for regular unleaded and pushing $5 a gallon for diesel. I didn't look today to see if gas prices have followed oil prices, although they're up about 5% this morning from trading yesterday. Expect this volatility. I will say this. I found it interesting that Donald Trump, who quickly blamed Joe Biden and his policies, and I get it, the lack of drilling and everything else, the selling off of the strategic reserves, it caused some pressure. Gas prices went up. But Donald Trump took no accountability for this war in Iran, for causing oil prices to go up. He just basically told Americans to suck it up in the short term.
And by the way, I don't have a problem with that, but you ought to admit that that's what happened.
Yeah, you blame the other guy for the oil prices. Right. You've got to take some accountability when your actions cause oil prices and gas prices to go through the roof. And that's the problem I had with this. There was no accountability there, and he just sort of sloughed it off and said, suck it up in the short term because this will be better for us. And that's fine. But own it a little bit, Donald. Own it a little bit.
It's the same thing as just yesterday. He talked about maybe releasing some oil out of the strategic reserves, which are still depleted, to ease gas prices.
Well, internationally, I think countries around the world, 400 million barrels, I think, have been released from strategic reserves around the world to soften the oil prices. But what happens? They make that announcement yesterday, and today oil prices shoot up by about $5 a barrel.
Yeah, apparently Iran today, or what's yesterday, it's dark over there, launching attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and the French are actually suggesting that they will send escort vessels. I've heard military people say, well, you can send an escort vessel, and that's really nice, but at the end of the day, they're both sitting ducks as they go through the strait. I just think what you've got to have at that point is about 15 F-35s just circling that area and letting the ships go through. And if they see a missile take off, they eliminate that site.
Yeah. President Trump saying basically the war is coming to an end. I don't see it yet. I'm not sure.
Right. He's trying to, if I say it enough, they'll believe it.
Yeah. Kuwait's airport this morning hit by Iranian drones.
What is their logic, Ash? Do they say, well, America made us do it? I mean, are they anticipating that those folks that are being attacked are going to get frustrated with the U.S.?
I think that's kind of their hope, but help me out here, Cody. Which Muslim sect controls Iran? Is it the Shiites?
It's the Shiites.
Okay. What they're doing is attacking all the Sunni majority-led Arab countries because once again, this is a theocracy, folks, in Iran. This is an religious ideological war that they are playing. They are attacking their Muslim brothers in the name of Allah because they don't exactly adhere to the strict, and I'm going to use the word conservative, but don't think of it as a Western version of conservative. They don't adhere to the strict, conservatively Muslim religious ideals that the Shiites do, so they're attacking them, and they're using that as justification.
Would this be like the Methodists attacking the Episcopalians?
Kind of.
I do find it interesting that these theocracies, and we're going to get into the mixture of church and
politics,
state,
yeah.
but and the hypocrisy of it in this country. But you get into this realm, and you have to remember, from their perspective, from Iran's perspective, or the Shiites' perspective, or the Ayatollah's perspective, they're not being terrorists to the U.S. They are carrying out the will of Allah.
Yeah.
That to squash the infidels.
Well, that's what they claim, when really what they're doing is siphoning off all the resources and the riches for themselves, emboldening themselves, and keeping the people down. That's what this does. That's what a theocracy does. It's no different than the communists or the oligarchs or anybody that wants power and absolute power, because what does absolute power do?
Corrupts absolutely.
And that's what's happened here. The Ayatollah Khomeini in 79, when he was exiled for 15 years, which was self-imposed, by the way, came back and said, we're going to overthrow the Shah because he's now oppressing you people, and we're going to be... The New York Times painted the Ayatollah as a moderate.
This would be like Franklin Graham deciding he's going to overthrow the government because Christians are just tired of it. We found it interesting this morning. Ash and I were talking. I was listening to a guy I did not know, that James Talarico, candidate for the United States Senate, if you squint, he's a reverend in the same way that Jesse Jackson was a reverend, right?
I think Jesse Jackson
Jesse
probably
was
more
a-
irreverent than,
Yeah, I
than
think
this
so,
guy.
too.
This
And-
guy, although he claims to have gone to a seminary school and is an minister, he might as well just got his ordained ministership online because
Online.
he's completely,
Off the reservation.
in my opinion, yeah.
But this guy, it's interesting to me. I did not know that he's just a single man. And that's fine. I mean, I couldn't care less if he's married or not, but I did not know that he wasn't married.
Well, he hasn't exactly put that out there, right?
Right. Interesting.
He kind of just lets those sort of things rest in ambiguity and
might
doesn't
help
really
him with the
address
gay
it.
vote.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting that the party of DEI, the Democrats, the Communist Party of America, as I like to refer to them as, because
the
they've
folks
been,
that hate America.
because could there have been a better DEI candidate
Then
than Jasmine Crockett?
No way.
They dismissed her. For a party that complains about the separation of church and state and is very critical about Michael Cloud praying for America or praying on a decision for Congress, and you can go find their comments.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very critical on Facebook. Well, God has no place in determining the future of this country, Michael Cloud.
But then those very same
Paraphrasing, but they're
Democrats,
there.
they can't wait to go, looky there. It's so refreshing to have a godly man running for this office.
Exactly. There's the hypocrisy
Except
again.
He's just not.
No. So they want separation of church and state when it benefits them.
Hang on, Bob.
They don't want separation of church and state.
And yet they turn their back on, like you said, the most DEI hire of all time, Jasmine Crockett. We're joined by our buddy Bobby Leister. Bobby, what's up?
So I don't normally agree with Stephen A. Smith, but he went on, I don't want to say rant, but he played Jesse Jackson's son saying, hey, don't make this funeral political. And then the video showed Obama. Then he kind of went off on the Democrats, which he normally doesn't. But, I have to say, I have to agree with Stephen A., for once. But, that's just all I have this morning. It's nice and cool. We had a little rain, we'll see what happens. If we win the lottery this weekend, it'd be great. So
There you go.
There you
Hey,
go.
you have a safe day. We'll elaborate.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah.
That did happen. Jesse Jackson's son had
Jesse Jackson Jr.
had told all these folks, don't make this celebration of my father's life about politics. And post-event, he went on and said, hey, these people got up and talked about my dad, and I can tell you from being there that they never knew him.
Yep.
And that was about Obama and Bill Clinton.
And Joe Biden.
And, of course, Kamala Harris got up, and she chirped about, I'd like to say I told you so. She's such a dork. I hope she runs again.
You know what they
I hope
don't
she
want to
grabs
admit? I bet
AOC
you the
and
person
runs.
that knew him best was Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The Donald Trump spoke with the family. I saw comments about that and couldn't, and obviously, couldn't be there.
They might have had some differences politically the last 12 years. But they were
friends.
They were friends.
Yes.
They were more than colleagues. I don't want to say they were running buddies, but they were very active together in the New York scene and politically through the 1980s and the 90s.
I saw a speech, a street side speech, where Donald Trump was not in the picture, and Jesse Jackson said, there is no way that this happens in New York City without Donald Trump. And by the way, Donald Trump, for those of you that don't know, Donald Trump may be a rich white guy, but Donald Trump always makes sure that minorities and folks of color, he said, have opportunities to work on all of his projects. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
The Talarico guy, here's the problem. I believe that Donald Trump endorsed John Cornyn despite their differences, which are large, because number one, Talarico's unhinged and off the chart, and totally he's just not qualified to be a United States senator. And this guy is he's dangerous because he espouses stuff. And I'm listening to, and I know, for example, our Latino friends on Magic 95.9, they don't play the game he's playing with 6 or 7 genders and with our large Catholic community, they're not big on his I want abortion care for transgender men. It just goes on and on and on. And they're not going to play that game. Much like Jasmine Crockett pandered to the wrong audience, I believe that James Talarico is not the right guy. The only problem is John Cornyn bores me to death. That's the only problem. I mean, do you agree?
John Cornyn, I don't think, has spent a minute in Texas except when he had to be in Corpus Christi for Donald Trump's press conference, which turned into a Trump rally.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he spent any time in Texas.
Andrew Alvarez says Kamala sounded drunk at Jesse's funeral.
I didn't watch enough of it.
I
to
didn't
pay
see
attention.
it, but it is interesting to me. I don't know Kamala Harris, obviously. Not even back in the 80s.
I haven't attended a funeral since Stalin's.
Nice. Nice. But there's so much, just as there's so much smoke around Bill Clinton's and Donald Trump's philandering, that there's just got to be something there, from back in the day.
Well, there's no question Donald Trump philandered. He's on his wife number 3, and he admittedly had an affairs on the first 2. So, I mean.
So there's also so much smoke around Kamala Harris being a falling off the wagon drunk that there's just got to be something to it. I mean, nobody claims that her husband is an alcoholic, but so many people claim that. Just like there's got to be something to Nancy Pelosi and the vodka. There's
I
just
think
got to be something to it.
I think it's ill-fitting dentures. I don't think Nancy drinks. And I'm just this from what I've
You
from
think
what I've
Nancy
heard.
can yank those dentures out?
Yeah, well, I don't think she can. I think the polydent, she doesn't set them properly. But I think that's what it sounds more like with Nancy than it does alcohol. It sounds like her dentures aren't quite fitting properly. But yeah. On this day, Franklin D. Roosevelt delivered the first of what became known as his fireside chats in 1933. Interestingly enough, I think it was this week that the federal government, in response to the Constitution, what was it, the Federal Banking Act or something like that helped strengthen the banks. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. That all of this
I
is
thought you were
timing.
going to say the federal government banned fires in the White House.
The FBI recently warning folks in California to keep an eye out for Iranian drone attacks on American soil. They're saying that they've got some credible information, intel, that the West Coast might be targeted by Iran, which is interesting because how would they get to the West Coast from Iran?
Russia.
Without China or Russia being involved?
It would have to be Russia. They don't have a navy.
North Korea?
I don't think North Korea wants any of it. Like we talked about the other day, there's only 26.5 million North Koreans.
Well,
they talk big, but they don't really want any of it.
no, somebody was trying to make a point on social media. I think it was on X last week. Well, how come we didn't attack North Korea? They got nukes. North Korea doesn't sit there every day going, death to America, kill the infidel, kill the infidel.
And the fact
that might be the difference.
Might be why we didn't attack them. I don't know if they have nukes or not. And the
yeah,
fact is they clearly don't have a guidance system that can get they can't get a missile out of their atmosphere.
No,
so.
they can't even get it beyond their out into international waters off their coast. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm still not convinced that Iran actually has nuke capabilities. I just don't.
If you launch a missile and it goes awry, call Allen's Wrecker Service. Allen's got a 75-ton crane. He'll go pick that jewel up and bring it right back to you. Like a boomerang, boomerang.
He'll disarm it too.
578-6300. Went services for all your electrical, turnkey generator needs, plugs, ballast, lighting.
Wynn's got the guys that could cut the wires so that
Absolutely.
bomb doesn't go off.
MacIver works for Wint. Veracruz Restaurant, it's post Caldo Wednesday, Thursday. Patrick Strauss says the Caldo was good yesterday. Seemed like it had a little more chili powder than usual. That is an aficionado of Caldo. And thank you, P. Strauss, for that review. Veracruz Restaurant, the best Tex-Mex. I don't care if they call it Jalisco style. Jalisco means Tex-Mex in Spanish. USA Concrete Coatings.
Or it could be the state of Jalisco in Mexico.
Could
I don't
be.
know.
I
Could
heard
be.
a guy.
That's irrelevant.
I heard a guy the other day on
Doesn't matter. It's the best
on
food
the
ever.
news talking about Jalisco, Mexico. I
Really?
said, why don't you just not talk about it? I also heard.
You broke the first rule of radio. Find out how it's pronounced before
yeah.
you speak about it.
I was on YouTube looking at something the other day, and there was a deal on there about how AI and this engineering firm had reverse engineered and had proven that the single bullet theory would not work. And they had ways to prove it. They'd done over 1 million data points on Dealey Plaza, blah, blah, blah. Well, when the girl introduced it, she was like from Atlanta, which is odd because she was white. And she said, I'm not being racist. I'm saying in general in Atlanta, if you're on the news, you're black. That's who does the news in Atlanta, and rightfully so. And this woman said, here's the video. A bunch of Americans, Texans mostly, line the streets because they wanted to see JFK and Jackie O. And I thought, she wasn't Jackie O until much later when she married Aristotle Onassis. And to a degree, that might be kind of a slap in the face. Anyway, everybody can't be as on top of their nomenclature as us. Don't forget the office is at 205. I think we're approaching being full.
I think so.
But that doesn't mean that you can't come by and see us.
Might be one space left.
They call us Mr.'s Lonely. Come see us. The offices of 205. James Geets and John Paul Hull created just a beautiful oasis in the middle of downtown. Tall ceilings, great acoustics, beautiful plaster walls, hardwoods, original, old, beautiful hardwoods.
Yeah, nice building.
Come by and see this building. Par Vita Wellness and the Vita Cafe, just the opposite. Brand new, spruced up, California looking and cool without the tax burden. Get by the Vita Cafe and have a wonderful, healthy meal. John Anderson, you have a good day, brother. Folks, First State Bank of Louise World Baseball Classic
Now let's do
update.
the Astros update because the Astros are now playing 500 baseball in spring training, which
They've been
I
on
was
a
worried
roll.
about early, but yeah, I think they've won 8 or 9 or something like that. It's crazy. They're
I
playing
can
good.
go back and show you that, like in the years that we won the division, we were spotty in the spring, and I think it's because for most of these years, Ash, our infield, we know Christian Walker, Jose Altuve. It looks like Correa at short for now because Jeremy Pena's hurt, and then we'll have Paredes at third. I'm telling you, that may be great.
Yeah. And pitching-wise, it's always been the only question mark is McCullers healthy enough, right?
Right.
It's not until we get into the season when all our pitchers start dropping off.
I can tell you as somebody who's watched him play numerous times, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing, if you're a baseball fan, to watch Carlos Correa field a ball deep in the hole, and what a cannon of an arm God blessed him with. Much better arm than Jeremy Pena. Pena probably getting close when Correa was younger. And I know it sounds crazy to think about him getting older, but when Correa was younger, he had the glove work and the arm that were just, just made Derek Jeter leave the field.
Well,
I'm not joking.
That's why you move Correa to third when he's healthy, because he's still got a cannon of an arm.
Oh, what a
Pena has a little
gun.
more range at this point.
Absolutely. Pena is quietly, not even so quietly, Tacos Randes, becoming the voice and the face of the Houston Astros. Yeah, Brian Small says Enos Cabell getting hot. Well, he's still got to get some time from Cheo Cruz. And don't forget, we've always got Terry Poole penciled in and right. He's just been on. He gets to play when he wants.
You think Major League Baseball and the World Baseball Classic going to retool how things are done after the scare that the U.S. had of almost not making it to
Can't
the
we just get a
quarterfinals?
bye to the Final Four for being the Americans?
I mean, Italy goes 4-0. They trounced Mexico yesterday on a game that Mexico needed to win to get in.
Are they crazy or what, though? Every time like if a guy hits a home run, everybody gives him that Italian, mwah, mwah, they kiss him on both cheeks, and you've got to have a cappuccino. And I don't know where that comes from.
They're having fun.
They're having fun, and then they put you put their number on the cappuccino machine. It's become baseball is so
but I think
quirky.
But I think what this has done, because if you look at like Canada advances the quarterfinals for the first time ever. A lot of some major league players, a lot of AAA players,
a lot of hockey guys.
They had to win yesterday against Cuba. I don't think Canada has beaten Cuba in international baseball since 2008, when Terry Poole was in his first season with the Jaguars, and we gave him a release time to go coach the Canadian Olympic team.
Isn't that something?
And they had to beat Cuba in Cuba to advance from a qualifier into the Olympics.
I mean, that's a road game. That's a road game. You don't know if
that's
you're
a
coming
road game
back
in
from.
hell. Exactly.
You may not come back from that.
No.
I found it interesting that
But what it seems to be with the World Baseball Classic, let me finish this thought real quick. The teams that are really doing well, Canada, Italy, a lot of guys that are in AAA, marginal major leaguers, they're using this as a showcase outside of spring training to show major league teams, hey, I've got what it takes to play at this level, and they're showing it.
What's the guy's name? Vinny Pasquina? He hit 3 bombs last night. And he plays first base for the Kansas City Royals. But he actually got somewhat emotional. I mean, he's of Italian descent, but when he talked about the actual Italians that are on the team, the manager for the Italian team unashamedly said, beating the USA yesterday and Mexico today are the 2 most important wins in the history of Italian baseball.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a big deal. And by the way,
the media here is downplaying it, but it is a big deal. If you want good coverage on this,
and
the Athletic.
May expand. If they get a foothold, if those guys become, I'm always rooting for the Americans. I almost want Italy to win the whole thing because it will spur a surge of young people playing baseball in Mexico.
Xander Bogaerts.
Italy.
Remember Xander Bogaerts? Played for the Giants, had a pretty good career, had a couple of years where he was really hot and really good.
Right.
It spurred baseball in the Netherlands.
There you go.
If you want baseball to become a truly global game outside of the U.S., Canada, the Latin American countries, Japan, Korea's doing well now with baseball, and some pockets of success in Australia, you needed to catch hold in Europe off of the Air Force bases where it seems to flourish.
I agree with Jonathan Williams. Italy seems to get better as the game goes along. That cappuccino must be a performance-enhancing drug.
Well, you know, at the Olympics and such, they do test for elevated levels of caffeine in your system.
Yeah. Mike Piazza, former New York Met, great player, has done a great job building baseball in Italy. I'm assuming, J-Dub, that he is actually over there. B.J. Nelson, board with sports, says, Rena, how are you today? Patrick Strauss.
How about the 83 points in the NBA the other day? I mean, did you see this one? And the guy plays for the Miami Heat.
Right. And he broke one of Kobe Bryant's records and
second highest point total ever in the NBA.
Behind
the highest,
Wilt Chamberlain.
behind Wilt's 100 in 1962 that nobody was in the arena to watch, but everybody claims they were there. Well, now they're probably most of them that were dead. But
did you see how it happened, though?
36 of 43 from the free throw line. That's how it happened because but even, and I forget who the Heat were playing, but the coach on the opposing team said, you know, I'm not sure some of the fouls they gave them were legitimate fouls, but you know what? When you're getting to the line 40 times and you make, 90% of your 85%, you're going to have a good day. And he didn't throw up that many three-pointers either, from what I understand.
No, but the asterisk, if you will, put up by Lakers fans predominantly was that Kobe Bryant did it in a contested ball game, whereas this game was over early. And they said that towards the end, the entire fourth quarter, that his team was fouling people to keep the clock from running out, and that the other team was fouling him to put him on the line. So it makes you wonder.
Is it any different than Michael Strahan getting the phantom sack to break the record by Brett Favre? I don't know that it was that much, but anyway. But 150 to 127 or something was a score. It wasn't even close. But there's the difference too. Kobe played at a time and scored his 81 when you weren't putting up 150 points.
No, that's right. 110, 108 was a big day at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Patrick Strauss pointed out that Doug Rader, the old redhead, was his favorite player at third base. I remember
he was such a good Rangers manager, though.
No, but I remember going to see the Astros, Cesar Cedeno, Jose Cruz. I think Jose was only like 45 at that point. And we went to the Astrodome. I mean, I went to the Astrodome, I was, say, 11, so 1972, 73, right in there. We went to an Astros game. I remember a song by Three Dog Night called Black and White. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that song.
And there was we stopped at a Dairy Queen somewhere, because I can remember my dad. You know, my dad was like, we listened to Merle Haggard, and that has served me well. But we stopped at this Dairy Queen, and every kid that had I think at the time, honestly, it was like a nickel. That song played 47 times during our 45-minute lunch. And I just remember my dad just sitting there going, I just can barely eat this burger. Yeah.
Iran announcing their soccer team will not compete in the World Cup this year. Donald Trump said the team was welcome to come play. Iran says no. I think they're worried about defections. I bet you a lot of them are of the age where they might get drafted.
Well, it made them look bad, right? They went to the Olympics and their team, or in Australia, and their team defected. Half of them defected.
Yeah. How about this? Donald Trump quietly announcing the other day that the first domestic refinery will be built in Brownsville. About a $300 billion investment. I think India and the Saudis are financing this thing, which is interesting because why isn't there an American oil company willing to invest in this?
Your answer is there. It's a $300 billion investment.
Well, but it's not really.
I find that hard to believe.
The
right?
investment for the refinery is about $6 to $7 billion to build it. This is the value of the oil coming in and the value of the refined products going out. So it's a little bit of a where's the P? Where's the P?
Well, thanks for clarifying that, because as we know, just go down to Gregory, Portland, and Exxon built a huge campus down there, chemical plant, for $5 billion. So I was going, where's $300 billion coming from?
You had to do a
that
little
sounds like a Minnesota, fraud.
Kind of. I don't want to say that, but it is kind of a little bit funny math.
There's a lot of funny math, folks, and don't get me wrong, the right does it with the same ferocity as the left.
Speaking of which, I want to point this out as we come close to closing here. CenterPoint Energy sending out a email to all of its customers that they have applied for a rate adjustment to become effective April 18th, 2026. I'm assuming this is, I don't know where they've applied. I didn't click all this, but I'm assuming it's probably somebody at the state, right?
Yeah.
To pay for infrastructure improvements and upgrades related to your natural gas service. So I did a little digging. This is a company that last year in 2025 had a $1.5 billion net profit.
Shouldn't they invest that in infrastructure?
You would think some of that could go into infrastructure. They could write it off. It's not going to affect their bottom line, blah, blah, blah. They had record dividends on their shares.
Are they going to charge you $5 for drainage?
I have to look and see what they might. But I just,
per month.
You got a $1.5 billion net profit on. They're making 50 cents on every dollar they earn.
Think about it.
Their revenue was 3 point something last year. They brought home, after all the expenses and write-offs and everything, $1.5 billion.
And the only way they get away with that is because gas, relatively speaking, is cheap. Mark Kurtz says
$3.19, I think, was the natural gas price this morning.
He mentions Bob Watson and J.R. Richard. Now, there's no reason for you to know much about James Rodney Richard, but J.R. Richard had a period in Major League history where he was literally unhittable.
If he hadn't had a stroke,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nobody.
he might have been. Well, he would have been a Hall of Famer,
Oh, yeah. He was,
but he might have been considered maybe the greatest pitcher of his era.
no doubt. It's before they lowered the mound and he was 6'8". They say that it looked like he was placing the ball in the glove.
This was like shaking hands with J.R. Richard. Like
Yeah.
his hands,
He could hold was it 8 baseballs in his hand at
it's
once? He
crazy.
put them between his fingers and then he would hold them like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had a chance to meet him a few years back.
He never liked you. He
Oh
told
no,
me.
he loved me. We had a great conversation.
It's a great story. It would be a great movie. Commander Cody says it's time for us to wrap it up.
We will.
I want to thank all of our sponsors. Thank all of you, really, more importantly, just for being here.
Appreciate the calls. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate everyone who listens and doesn't provide feedback, because we know you start your day with us, and that means a lot to us.
And we
Because
know
you
there's a
don't
lot of
have
folks
to.
listening. So go have a great day. We love you. We'll talk to you guys mañana.
Bye, folks.